Here we are, last day of class. No more new material. Today's our review class. So I'm going to spend a little time just kind of telling you what the final exam is going to be like, what you're allowed to bring with you, etc., how to prepare. And then the rest of the class is going to be like a work session. You can work through your study guide. You can work on making your cheat sheets. You can organize your notes, like whatever you need to do to get a jump start on your studying. All right, so let's see. For the final exam, types of problems to expect. There will definitely be a section of give an example of a function which, right? Just like you just had in your project and like there has been on every test and quiz that you've taken all semester. There will be a section of equations to solve, right? So we've learned how to solve lots of different kinds of equations this semester. Linear, quadratic, absolute value, equations with fractions in them, equations with square roots in them. What else? Rational exponents, fractional exponent equations. And you have a whole worksheet of equations to practice solving on the next pages. There'll be a section of like what kind of function is this based on some graphs or some data or some verbal descriptions, and you'll have to find a formula for it or match it to a formula. And you have a worksheet like that also, right, where you have some pictures and you have to find a formula. There'll definitely be a section of like word problems, modeling problems, word problems. And then there's some other miscellaneous problems that are going to be thematic. Like there's probably going to be something with composition and inverses, right? It's some of the other miscellaneous things. So the test is 2 hours, so 7 to 8 pages. So sorry, about 7 pages, about 8 questions. Questions have multiple parts. It's really not much longer than any other test we've taken this semester. It's about the same length, but you get the 2 hours. And this test is from 1 to 3 on Monday. I don't think anybody's going to be coming into this room after us. So if you need a little bit of extra time, you don't have to stress about getting kicked out. Okay. All right, so those are some things about the final. Here's resources you can use to help you prepare and while you're taking the final. So for preparation, you should go over all your old tests and quizzes. You can look at the review problems and section summaries in the appropriate chapter, go over old homework assignments. Even if an assignment is past due, like you can still go in and click try a similar problem. It will never hurt your homework grade. So you can go into a homework, there's something that you want to practice, you can click try a similar problem and it'll give you a new one. I gave you 2 review worksheets. One is types of functions and one is solving equations. That's not all you should review because like we just talked about, that's like 2 sections of the test, but there are other sections also. So this is a helpful review, but not comprehensive. There's a final exam review in my math lab, separate assignment that's just to help you review for the final. It's not required, meant to help you prepare. So use that if you think it'll be helpful. At least until the final. Yep. Yeah, probably while you're taking your final is when I'll be calculating your final, updating my spreadsheet with your final grades and stuff. So if you want to do any homework to get your homework grade boosted, you want to make sure that's done before the final exam. You can use only a scientific calculator, a non-graphing calculator, just like all of our other tests and quizzes. If you don't have one of your own, I'll have some that you can borrow. And you can bring 4 pages of notes with you to the final exam. Okay. So the thought behind the 4 pages is that you have made, hopefully, 3 pages of notes for the 3 tests we've taken so far. And you can bring those 3, plus you can bring 1 more with any new material. Or if you didn't save them, or they weren't helpful, or you didn't make them in the first place, you can make 4 pages from scratch. All right, so let's go back. Study guide. This is a list of things that you should be able to do. So some people like to have this read through these and just say like, oh yeah, I know how to do that, I know how to do that, I know how to do that. So that can be helpful. And then we have the final review worksheets. We have a bunch of practice equations to solve. And within the practice equations, there's a bunch of word problems, right? So you can practice with some word problems. And then after that, we have some pictures, some graphs, and you have to classify the function type and then also come up with an equation. Okay. And then the answers to these follow. You have the answers to everything. And then in addition to the answers, you also have solutions of all of these things being solved in a video. And the video is posted in Moodle. Okay. So if you go to Moodle, there'll be video solutions for all those. So if you're studying over the weekend and you're stumped on something, you can watch the video. Any questions about the final, how to prepare, what it's going to be like? It's in this room, yep. The time in the day? Yeah. Monday, December 21st, 1 o'clock. 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.